connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Idaho on a Friday. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris into our second hour this morning, and we're coming to you live, as you can see, from the Boise Aquatic Center as the 8-month closure of their Olympic-sized swimming pool is officially over. And boy, what a process this has been. I'm going to have more on what it took to get here a little bit later on. But also coming up, there's lots to get to from our large team of neighborhood reporters, bringing you more local stories than anyone else in our market this Naylor, the burly man, he's accused of murdering 4 people across 2 counties back in July. What we know about his case and the deal he intends to strike. Also, our Allie Tripke brings us the divided reactions from Idahoans to a proposal to rename Highway 16 to the Charlie Kirk Memorial Highway. We'll get to those stories and much more coming up in just a moment. But first, let's get the latest on our weather. Sophia Cruz joins us. It's been a little foggy out again this morning. We noticed that coming in and definitely chilly.
Yeah, it's a chilly start to the morning, so don't forget the jacket as you head out for your Friday. But first, happy Friday to you. We've made it to our weekend, and we're doing so with a bit of fog. And this will be the same story as we head into tomorrow morning, too. But from Weiser all the way down, extending into Twin Falls, we've got a dense fog advisory through 10 o'clock this morning. So just a heads up for those of you heading out a little bit earlier to start the day. It's pretty foggy over downtown, and as you head from Meridian into downtown, that's where we're looking at some patchy areas. But you've got lower 40s through 10 a.m. We'll slowly see these clouds dissipate, and then it'll be pretty cloudy about lunchtime, and then it's that 2 o'clock hour, we'll see a little bit more sunshine out there. So still a pretty good day ahead rolling, and the weekend overall looks nice, and then we see changes arrive next week.
All right. Thanks, Sophia. We appreciate it. We start this morning with a story out of the Boise bench, where a man is now facing murder charges after killing his friend, claiming it was an assisted suicide. Our Isaiah Sharp has the story.
A Boise man is now facing a first-degree murder charge, accused of killing his friend and telling officers he didn't feel bad about it. I'm Isaiah Sharp at the Ada County Courthouse. I was in court Thursday afternoon as 36-year-old Brian Jones appeared before a judge. He is being held without bond on a first-degree murder charge. According to Boise police, officers were called to Sunrise Rim near the Boise airport, where they found Abel Garcia Jr. unresponsive, his face blue and purple. The criminal complaint saying that his death is consistent with a strangling or choking. Boise police also say Jones told dispatch it was an assisted suicide, but inside the courtroom, prosecutors revealed something very different. When Boise police arrived, Jones told officers, "I killed my friend. He wanted it. I don't feel bad." The judge has ordered a mental health evaluation, meaning a court-appointed psychiatrist and psychologist will examine Jones. That hearing is set for December 16th at the Ada County Courthouse. I'm Isaiah Sharp for Idaho News 6.
A Boise man is facing first-degree arson charges after a 2-hour standoff on Wednesday with Boise police that ended in a house fire. Officers responded to a report of a person in crisis, and according to police, Sharif Bari had barricaded himself inside a house with a knife. During the standoff, fire alarms began sounding, and the home started to fill with smoke. After police evacuated nearby neighbors, Bari surrendered himself and was then taken to a hospital before he was booked into the Ada County Jail.
A burly man accused of murdering 4 people across 2 counties back in July intends to strike a plea deal. I'm your neighborhood reporter Joey Martin at the courthouse where Benjamin Naylor appeared in front of a judge related to the 2 murder charges in Cassia County.
Did you sign this of your own free will and choice?
Yes, I did.
Few words in court Thursday from quadruple murder suspect Benjamin Naylor. Prosecutors say the 56-year-old man shot and killed Kelly and Donna Jenks in their Burley home on July 8th. Then went on to murder 2 more victims in Minidoka County, 25-year-old Angelica Medina and 77-year-old Dennis Mix. On Thursday, I was there as Naylor appeared in court in approved street clothing for the 2 murders in Cassia County. He waived his right to a preliminary hearing after months of psychological evaluations and a court-ordered mental competency exam.
Did you have sufficient opportunity to discuss this with your attorneys?
Yes.
And are you signing this under any duress or coercion?
No.
Now, we're learning discussions are underway for a plea deal. According to Naylor's attorneys who are handling the cases in both counties, they'll also pass on the preliminary hearing for the Minidoka County murders on Friday, giving them time to review the proposed agreement.
Naylor has been charged with 4 counts of murder in the first degree with the use of a deadly weapon. Reporting in Burley, I'm your neighborhood reporter Joey Martin, Idaho News 6.
Could Highway 16 become known as Charlie Kirk Memorial Highway? Short answer, it's possible. I'm neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke, and that decision actually needs to be made here as formal legislation. But a local conservative Christian interest group is already prepping that bill. And they tell me they already have interest from sponsors. So what do Idahoans want?
We are pretty Republican here, and he did have that kind of stance, so maybe.
I followed Charlie for years and years and years, and so, but I don't think that he's that level of having a highway named after him.
The Idaho Family Policy Center is proposing the idea. They say the state should, quote, recognize Charlie's legacy. And they say renaming the highway will serve as a reminder that free speech and the Christian faith are vital for a functioning constitutional republic. As for ITD's involvement, they tell us they really just enforce what's decided at the State House. All in all, nothing has changed yet, but we'll keep our eye on the legislative session come early 2026 and keep you updated on Idaho News 6. In Ada County, I'm neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke for Idaho News 6.
Idaho Fish and Game will release steelhead into the Boise River on Friday. But in order to catch this huge fish, you have to have the right bait. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter Steve Dent, and we meet up with Chris Girano of Boise River Guides to learn how to tie a fly.
Tying a little steelhead fly called an egg-sucking leech. You know, steelhead, when they come into the rivers, they quit eating. What we're trying to do is get something, our bait, our fly, our lure, in their face, so they're gonna, come and snap at it and try to get it out of their face, get it out of their way, and that's when you set the hook, and then the fun begins. Put a few more wraps of this chenille here. And then we're just gonna wrap a little bit of color on the front here, put a little half hitch in there, trim that in there. And then we've got, this thing here is called a whip finisher. I like using the tool. It takes a little bit of practice to get this down. There we go. There's 2 whip finishes. Get our rooster feather here. This is a technique called palmering. So what I'm doing is I'm wrapped this rooster feather onto the body of the fly. I wrapped it, secured it down with a piece of wire. Here we go. A little egg-sucking leech.
Idaho Fish and Game will drop off steelhead at 5 different locations on the Boise River on Friday. They expect to get to some of those locations around noon, but the truck will get here when they get here. I'm your Idaho Backroads neighborhood reporter Steve Dent for Idaho News 6.
After the break, the Trump administration pulls back even more tariffs as shoppers face surging prices across grocery aisles. 11 minutes past the hour. Welcome back on a Friday morning to Good Morning Idaho. Let's take a look at your national headlines this morning. President Trump facing backlash from both parties after accusing half a dozen Democratic veterans in Congress of being traitors and suggesting they should face the death penalty. That threat coming after the lawmakers, all veterans of the military or U.S. intelligence, released a video reminding military service members of their duty that they should not obey illegal orders, like shooting protesters in the legs, a suggestion that Trump had made earlier this year. Trump fired off a number of social media posts saying those lawmakers should be arrested and put on trial. One post read, "Seditious behavior, punishable by death." The White House press secretary tried to clarify that he does not want to execute members of Congress, but lawmakers on both sides of the aisle agree that rhetoric like that from the president is dangerous. President Trump is expected to meet New York City's new mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani in the Oval Office later today. Trump had been highly critical of 34-year-old Mamdani in the run-up to the election, calling the Democratic Socialist a communist and threatening to pull federal funding from New York if he was elected. After a grueling campaign and election, Mamdani has said he's willing to work with anyone to help New Yorkers, even President Trump. He's planning on discussing the affordability issues residents face with the president, as well as public safety. And experts say grocery prices could drop after President Donald Trump removed tariffs on Brazilian goods. The executive order eliminates duties on coffee, beef, certain fruits, juices, and nuts. It applies retroactively from November 13th. Trump had imposed 50% tariffs in July. And that move comes as several products, especially beef and coffee, as we mentioned, have seen some of the steepest price increases this year. ABC's Andrea Fujii has the story.
This morning, the Trump administration reversing course on more of the president's tariffs, now lifting the 40% tariff on products from Brazil, including beef and coffee, which have seen some of the steepest price increases this year. Coffee up 41%, beef up 12% to a record high.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but the main, I guess, the Super Bowl of the trade war is still with China. So we need to keep an eye on that situation, too.
Just last week, the White House also rolling back tariffs on more than 200 food items, mainly produce, from 4 Central and South American countries. As many Americans continue to grapple with the cost of living, Vice President Vance is urging Americans to be patient, insisting the administration's economic policies are working.
As much progress as we've made, it's going to take a little bit of time for every American to feel that economic boom, which we really do believe is coming.
The market getting good news about the job market yesterday, but stocks plunging. Investors are worried that the good news about jobs will make the Federal Reserve less likely to cut interest rates next month.
If economic data is really strong, it kind of lessens the case for rate cuts. And so if the market doesn't get what it wants, it tends to throw a tantrum.
Investors also increasingly worried about the so-called artificial intelligence bubble, even after chipmaker NVIDIA reported blockbuster profits.
Meanwhile, some relief is coming for farmers hit hard by the trade war. The Trump administration now says it will announce an aid package for farmers next month. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Okay, neighborhood of the day is Meridian, where you've got lower 50s this afternoon, but a bit of fog here for your morning commute. I'll have all the details on your weekend forecast ahead.
Past the hour on this Friday morning. Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho, everyone. And the water is back at the Boise City Aquatic Center. It's where we are this morning. After 8 months of closure, this Olympic-sized pool run by the West Boise YMCA is back open, and it has been quite a journey to get here. The Olympic-sized swimming pool at the Boise City Aquatic Center
I can hardly wait.
is back in business.
How does it feel to have it full of water? I can't even tell you in words how excited we are to reopen this pool.
Scott Swanson is the executive director of the West Valley YMCA that operates the pool for the city of Boise. It's 30 years old and has been shut down for the past 8 months.
It started as a simple leak that we needed to drain the pool to address.
After draining all 700,000 gallons, they fixed the leak, but after filling the pool again, realized there were more issues. A lot more.
This is all dug up not so long ago, right? This is where a lot of the excavation and, work almost 20 feet underground took place.
The shutdown was felt far and wide.
In addition to swimming, we also do a lot of other things like water polo and diving and scuba diving for veterans. And the Boise City Fire Department does a lot of their training here before the summer so they can practice their water rescues. So it's a huge community resource.
Ginger Miners relies on the pool to rehab her knee.
To me, it's practically life-saving. I love coming in the morning and getting going and trying to move.
She's making do with one of the small side pools, but can't wait to get back in the big one.
And I imagine there's thousands of people that can hardly wait.
The repairs cost close to $500,000, and Swanson says the Tomlinson Foundation made a significant gift to offset the cost. Looking back, Swanson says the pool is as good as ever.
Most pools last 8 to 10 years before they're in need of a lot of maintenance, and this one lasted 30, and again, it's now good to go for another 30.
Now, don't forget, this is a city pool here at the West Valley YMCA, so you don't have to be a member. All you have to do if you want to swim indoors when it's cold out is pay a small fee, and you can get in whenever you want. In Boise, I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, Idaho News 6.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
All right, Sophia, this is the place to be, I'll tell you. I mean, a lot of people are going to be heading out of town, maybe someplace exotic because of the holiday week coming up. This almost feels like it because it's nice and humid and the pool is lapping. It just feels nice in here.
For me, if I'm going to be by a pool, I want to get a tan. So I'm not really a swimmer, but it seems like a fun thing to do, especially because it's a little soupy outside, and it has been for the past couple days. It's been good running weather and walking weather throughout the afternoons, but as we head into the weekend, it's going to get pretty quiet out there. So you've got 39 waking up over downtown. You can barely see it. So that fog advisory is in place again through 10 o'clock this morning. Heads up if you're traveling anywhere across the Treasure Valley into the Magic Valley especially. We're seeing visibilities drop down near a quarter of a mile. So heads up. Increase that following distance and just drive safely and slowly as you head out for your Friday. Right now we have on top of the fog some very low stratus clouds, which will help keep temperatures pretty cool throughout the morning and throughout the afternoon ahead. Now, if you're heading up to McCall this weekend, it is going to be pretty nice overall, and you've got a bit of patchy fog into tomorrow morning as well. But Saturday and Sunday, mid-40s, so you'll want to bring the jacket with you. Through next week, we see a big cool down. Temperatures dropping towards the mid-30s, which will be good for snowmaking, and then we see temperatures rise back up to those lower 40s as we head into really Thanksgiving and that Thanksgiving weekend. So we will be looking at some unsettled weather into next week. But yesterday, man, Sun Valley got about 10 inches of snow. They saw some patchy fog and clouds at times. Some of this will melt off as we head into our weekend, especially into Sunday. Temperatures then sitting in those lower 50s. Unsettled weather to follow next week, and temperatures do get near those 40s into next weekend. So not cold enough just yet to really hang on to all of that snow, but it does get cold enough through the middle of the week where maybe they can start building up that base. As far as what our model picks up, we do have significant snowfall coming as we approach December 2nd, from 3 inches over to Pine to 8 up in Tamarack and even 11 near McCall. Down into the Magic Valley, you also get near these numbers too. Between Pomerel and Magic, just between 10 to 7 inches. So there are changes coming. It's just later than we'd all like and expected. You've got lower 50s though through Sunday. Through next week, the unsettled weather mainly affecting those mountains. For us, we'll see a slight chance of showers Wednesdays. Temperatures cool to those mid-40s. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll keep you up to date right here.
What's your favorite part of the holiday season? Is it decorating a Christmas tree, maybe getting presents underneath it, or maybe you're a big fan of holiday treats? I'm Isaiah Sharp, and in this week's Made in Idaho, we highlight a chocolatier and pastry chef bringing European sweets to the Gem State. Growing up in Poland, Ivana Zimilog had a sweet tooth, more for making than consuming. She moved to Canada when she was 22 and wanted to refine her pastry work.
There was a very good pastry school training in Vancouver, BC, and that's where I got my training.
Her current focus is delectable chocolates for the upcoming holidays. Using Belgian chocolate and no preservatives, Zimilog tempers, designs, and creates confections in her home slated to make thousands for the Treasure Valley to enjoy. If you'd like to try some of these sweets yourself, she is taking pre-orders for the upcoming season. She is also a vendor at the Winter Wonder Market this November 29th. For more information on where that is and access to all of her treats, head to our website, idahonews6.com. I'm Isaiah Sharp for Idaho News 6.
6:25, and thanks for joining us this morning on Good Morning Idaho. Hope you're off to a great start on this Friday, everyone. We've got a lot more in store in our last half hour, though. Here's a look at what's still to come from your neighborhood reporters.
An emotional reunion at the Elmore County Jail for a man detained in the Wilder FBI ICE raid and what he says happened inside.
Election results in limbo in Elmore County. What to expect as officials plan a hand count for the 300 ballots they discovered were never tallied.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho, everybody, into our last half hour on a Friday morning. Oh, TGIF, everyone. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. Good to have you along. We are here at the West Boise YMCA as the Boise City Aquatic Center's pool behind me is back open, having been closed for the past 8 months. It's been quite a journey. I'm going to have more from a West Boise official on the journey that it took to get here later on. But first, we also have a lot to get to from our large team of neighborhood reporters, like team coverage in Canyon County this morning on nearly a dozen of the Wilder detainees being released. We'll have a firsthand account of what it was like to be detained by ICE and hear from an immigration attorney who says her client's rights were violated. Plus, a story new this morning, our Riley Shoemaker explores the popular and largely unregulated drug kratom. She speaks with an addiction expert on the often overlooked side effects and sees herself just how readily available it is. We'll get to all that coming up, but first let's get the latest on our weather on a Friday morning. Sophia Cruz joins us. We'll look ahead into the weekend. How's it shaping up so far?
We have a really good weekend here, especially if you want to do anything outside throughout the afternoons and you like the cooler weather. Perfect running weather too. Now, the one thing about our mornings is that they will be a bit foggy, especially with that cooler air just near our valley floors. We have that ridge building aloft, so we have an inversion in effect, which is causing all of this dense fog. And so from Weiser down into Twin Falls, we have a dense fog advisory through 10 o'clock this morning. Over downtown, it is quite foggy, so that stretch from Meridian into downtown right now looks to be the foggiest for us here in the Treasure Valley. So waking up, you do want to account for that. Give yourself some extra time on the roads this morning. Through 10 o'clock, we'll see those lower 40s, and that fog will continue on through much of our morning commute together. By the afternoon, upper 40s and mostly clear. Roland.
All right, thanks, Sophia. We turn now to our continued team coverage following the release of nearly a dozen people detained by ICE in last month's federal raid on a Wilder horse track. Now, we start with our Victoria Rodriguez, hearing from one of those detainees firsthand on what conditions were like.
I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez, and I was there as people like Juana Rodriguez were reunited with their family members. I first spoke with Juana 1 month ago after the raid, and last night as she and her father reconnected. They told me what it was like to be separated, detained, and reunited.
I was able to get the news that my dad was being released. I'm proud of myself because I said I was going to fight for him until I was able to have him back into my arms.
Last month, after the raid, Juana told me she was unable to care for her 3-year-old son while her hands were zip-tied, and her father was taken into ICE custody. Being reunited Wednesday night is a moment she says she will never forget.
And I'm just very happy that my dad is back home, and I will make sure that I enjoy him for every moment until it's the end of her life.
Juana's father tells me he felt pressured by an officer to sign paperwork to self-deport, but he refused, trusting that his daughter would fight for his release.
Digo, no, pues, ¿cómo te vas a arrepentir si ya estás listo para firmar, para irte, no? Dije, no, mi hija me dijo que no, que iba a luchar. Y gracias a Dios, sí.
Her father says the conditions inside the jail were difficult, describing long hours without food and overcrowded rooms.
Muy mal. Cuando recién llegamos, 24 horas sin comer, te meten en un cuarto como 30 gentes que dormíamos sentados así.
He also hopes others in custody don't feel pressured to sign paperwork they might not completely understand, because once you sign, there's no undoing it.
Yo ya estaba a punto de decir de firmar y no firmé.
Juana says she's now focused on simply having her father home and making up for the time they lost. In Nampa, I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez for Idaho News 6.
1 month after more than 100 people were taken into ICE custody at a Wilder horse track, a federal judge rules those detainees must be released. I'm our neighborhood reporter, Leslie Solis, talking with the attorney who says her client's rights were violated.
Idaho News 6 was there Wednesday night as 8 people made their way out of the Elmore County Jail, where families were waiting with open arms after weeks apart.
A lot of them were told that there was no hope, that they were not going to get out. They weren't going to get a bond.
Nikki Ramirez Smith saw firsthand what happened on October 19th at La Catedral Horse Racetrack in Wilder. Idaho News 6 was also there as hundreds of families were separated, zip-tied, screened, and more than 100 taken into federal custody. Ramirez Smith calls the operation racial profiling. The law firm filed a habeas corpus petition ordering officials to provide a legal reason for their client's detention.
I can say this was the largest group of people who had absolutely no criminal history.
She says their biggest challenge was locating detainees. Some were transported out of state, others chose to self-deport. But either way, she emphasizes there was no due process. After weeks of waiting, a judge ruled in favor of releasing 15 people from custody.
Attorneys tell me they're still trying to help those detained in other facilities and those who decided to self-deport. I'm our neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis, Idaho News 6.
3 candidates have been nominated to potentially represent Twin Falls and fill a vacant seat in the Idaho State Legislature. The recommendations follow the recent resignation of Representative Lance Clow earlier this month. The Republican Legislative District 25 Committee selected former Twin Falls Mayor Don Hall as their first choice. Second choice is longtime Twin Falls Republican Party member Lucy Wills. And for the committee's third choice, longtime Republican and realtor Char Alexander. Governor Little will have 15 days to make a selection, and the seat will be up for re-election in 2026.
Election results in limbo in Elmore County as officials plan a formal hand count of every ballot cast in the county. I'm your Mountain Home neighborhood reporter, Sahana Patel, and this all comes as the clerk's office found 300 ballots that were never counted. And in a county like this, those votes could flip results. In the middle of last week, Elmore County Clerk Sherry Essel noticed something seemed off with the total numbers of ballots tallied.
It seems as though we found it was some kind of a procedural issue.
The results from roughly 300 votes could impact any race in the county. In Glens Ferry, just 23 votes could change the mayor-elect, and 16 votes could shift who serves on the city council. A school district trustee race could also change. In Mountain Home, 90 votes could alter the makeup of the city council, and 21 votes could reverse the approval of the school district's $3 million bond. And for the Bruno Grandview School District, these votes could impact a trustee seat and make or break whether Bruno Elementary School stays open. As for the small town of Atlanta, just 3 votes could decide a fire district commissioner race. That recount will start bright and early Monday morning, and the Secretary of State and Attorney General will be there to oversee the process, and results are expected by the end of the day. We'll be there and we'll keep you updated on Idaho News 6. I'm your Mountain Home neighborhood reporter, Sahana Patel, for Idaho News 6.
Voters in Payette County made it clear at the ballot box on November 4th they are not interested in paying for a bond to build a new jail, at least not this one. As we reported, the sheriff's office put a $40 million proposal before voters. A majority said yes, but the bond fell well short of the 2/3 or roughly 67% of the vote it needed to pass. So, what happens next? The sheriff wants to hear from you as they try to figure that out. If you live in Payette County, you are invited to weigh in an anonymous online survey. Look for the link in this story on idahonews6.com. As we reported, like so many rural areas in our valley, Payette has seen rapid growth in recent years. And as the sheriff previously told our Brady Caskey, the jail built back in the 1970s just isn't big enough.
Because we're overcrowded, we're putting a large amount of people out on pretrial release. We have over 300 people on pretrial release, and we continue just to add the number that are people out on release. And that directly affects the public safety.
The sheriff told us they'll do everything they can to repair the facility, and depending on public feedback, we could see another bond proposal down the line. You can find Brady's full reporting on idahonews6.com. 6:38, let's take a look now at what's happening today in your neighborhood on this Friday. Idaho Fish and Game will stock around 200 big steelhead trout in the Boise River at 5 different locations today. They are expected to arrive around noon with 2 trucks dropping off steelhead at Barber Park, the Americana Bridge, the Glenwood Bridge, the Broadway Bridge, and West Park Center Bridge. You can find some tips to catch them in this week's installment of Idaho Backroads from our Steve Dent. Over at the Boise Center, the Wintry Market kicks off showcasing the best of art, craft, and design this holiday season among Treasure Valley makers. It is the 14th year of the annual market, and they expect 175 regional artists and crafters. Tickets are $10 today, good for tomorrow as well, and $5 if you get them on Saturday. Doors open at 4, and it goes until 9 this evening, and then 9 to 5 on Saturday. And after 8 months of being closed for repair, this is where we're at. The Boise Aquatic Center's Olympic-sized pool is back open as of today for community use. The pool is used by the community for a wide range of purposes, from school events to scuba diving for veterans and water rescue training exercises for Boise fire crews. What started as a simple leak turned into a months-long endeavor, but the wait is finally over, thanks in no small part to a large donation from the Tomlinson Foundation. And check out this exclusive video obtained by our photojournalist Doug Locksmith. The paranormal investigation team from Ghost Adventures met by an excited crowd in Pocatello. Hey guys! The crew was there to film an episode at one of Pocatello's most haunted locations, the Yellowstone Restaurant. According to the owners, at least 27 ghostly residents still call the former hotel home, with reports of voices, figures, and objects moving on their own.
Kratom. It's legal, it's easy to buy, but some doctors say it's dangerously misunderstood and mismarketed.
The Idaho News 6 Ski Report, sponsored by Larry H. Miller Subaru.
Okay, update on your ski report. Not very much new fresh powder at Bogus, but they're just waiting for that cold and just some snow to come on in so that way they can get the runs open. But also at Tamarack, projected opening now looking more near December, about December 5th. Also coming from Brundage Mountain, also just waiting for some storms really just to come in and bring us some fresh powder. Sun Valley Resort, to be determined. Taking a look around the rest of the area, Pomerel and even Magic Mountain both looking near December, it looks like, and Pomerel's just waiting on a bit more snow. So we'll keep you up to date as far as what we look like through the week ahead and when we'll be getting some more snow for our ski season.
Kratom. You may have seen signs for it. I most certainly have on my drive to the gym, to work, to the grocery store. I'm your North Boise neighborhood reporter, Riley Shoemaker, and I asked myself, is this just in my neighborhood? Well, now I'm in Meridian at the corner of Meridian Road and East Franklin, and I looked up Kratom near me, and this is how many results I got. So I'm gonna go check out one of these Kratom shops for myself. So what exactly is Kratom? It's a plant from Southeast Asia, part of the coffee family. And here in the U.S., it's sold as powders, capsules, and bottled shots. It's marketed as a natural wellness supplement. At one local retailer in Meridian, products come in brightly colored packaging and candy-like flavors, advertised for relief, relaxation, and energy. But online, it says they sell bags of Kratom powder for about $10. And across the Treasure Valley, packaged shots go for $1 or $2. But despite the friendly branding, doctors say many people don't understand the risks or what's actually inside some of these products.
What I've heard from patients is they either hear from word of mouth or through the internet that this is a safe and natural alternative to opioids, medications, that type of thing. So my concern is that it's something that's not regulated and they can just go out and buy it.
Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
Okay, Sunny's forecast is ready for this Friday. Happy Friday to you at home, kiddos. He said to grab the jacket. It's still pretty chilly throughout the morning. You've got 38 to start the day, mid-40s, and we'll slowly see that fog dissipate as we head into that afternoon. And then by the time it's dinner time, it'll be nice, sunny, and in those lower 50s across the area. So pretty good day ahead. I'll have the rest of the details on your weekend coming up.
Everyone, it is 6:47, I should say, on a Friday morning. Scott Swanson, Executive Director of the West Boise YMCA, joins us because the pool is back open, everyone. I know, it's so nice. We saw you in the story earlier in the show, and this has been just a long process, and when the first guy got in, the whole place started clapping.
Yeah, we cheered. 8 months we've been waiting for somebody to jump in this pool, and finally happened this morning, and so...
It is really cool. We've talked a little bit about how much this pool is used. It is a public pool. You can come down and use it and just pay day fees if you want. A lot of people come down here and swim. We see them this morning, but it's used for a lot of other things too.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't know, but the reason this is called the West Boise YMCA and Boise City Aquatic Center is the city does own this pool and we manage and operate it. And so as part of that, the entire community is welcome to come here and pay a reduced rate to be able to just swim like any other city pool. But in addition to the open swimming, we also host so much more, from water polo to diving to scuba diving to tons of community swim meets that serve our school districts in the valley.
It's just a great facility. And now I just have to ask you because it's been bothering me. And there's spots on the bottom of the pool that you didn't paint over when it was empty. Yeah. No, you get this question all the time, right?
We do. We get that question a lot, and our CEO did an amazing job answering it. But people think it's dirt, it's rust. It's not. It's a little bit of erosion to the plaster that we could have fixed it. We would have needed to wait till the completion of the main project that happened, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to open to the community, so it's purely aesthetic, and it's not going to affect the swimming or the water at all.
I thought we'd get that out of the way, so anyone who asks that question, you don't have to answer it anymore. But moving forward, it looks like this thing is in, as you mentioned, mechanically fabulous shape.
This is, we are about to celebrate our 30th birthday on January 6th, so it's right now as good of shape as it's been in 30 years. Yeah. So we're super excited.
Well, it is great to see it open. Scott, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it. I know it's been a long haul for you.
Thank you.
Reporting from the West Boise YMCA, I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. Let's get the latest on our weather now with Sophia.
Well, hopefully instead of swimming, if you want to do that today, we can. Hopefully we'll be looking for our goggles to head out to the slopes because that's how deep it'll be, especially at Sun Valley because of yesterday. They got 10 inches. Now some of this is going to melt off on their slopes because things are looking warmer into the weekend. And so if you're heading up and just traveling, maybe you're heading up there for your weekend, just a heads up that we are looking at some patchy fog, especially as you head into the Magic Valley area where visibility has dropped down near a quarter of a mile. So make sure that you are driving safely and slowly through your morning commute. Here in downtown, we have seen it drop to about a half, so it's very patchy, and just increase that following distance and drive safely for your Friday. We've got on top of the fog, low stratus clouds, which will help keeping us pretty cool, but overall our weekend we'll see that fog return tomorrow morning, and then throughout the afternoon lower 50s. Sunday doesn't look like we'll be seeing that fog as strong, but if we do see some patchy fog, that'll be in the morning time as well. Now I do want to show you our trend over the next 10 days because temperatures have been above average. We slowly see them go back down to those 40s into next Monday, stretching all the way through Thursday. Then temperatures warm up slightly into Friday, and then after that it's skyrocketing down. So that cold weather is just around the corner, and we need it because I'm sure many of you are ready to hit the slopes, and I'm sitting right there with you. And right now we are picking up snowfall as we head into that first week of December. So it's just right around the corner. A lot of this being anywhere from 3 over to 11 inches up in McCall. Down in the Magic Valley area, Pomerelle and Magic look to get a surplus as we head into that first week between 10 over to just about 7 inches in the Magic Valley. Now, either way, I don't necessarily think this will reach our valley floors just yet. We'll have to really decide on that closer because that's still far away for us, but either way, it's still a good news that we are cooling down. Now Sun Valley looks really nice into Sunday with lower 50s expected. Unsettled weather moving in on the higher terrain next week as we have a cooler weather maker arriving and pushing inland. Monday, that'll bring down a nice cool down for us and also a slight chance of showers. Same story goes for Wednesday and Thursday as temperatures reach towards those mid 40s. Now for us and closer to home, it'll be a pretty mild week ahead, just a little bit colder starting Monday. You get those mid 40s and then a slight chance of showers arriving Wednesday. Overall, it's going to be a really good week. We just got to pray for some snow and the cold weather. All right, let's head into your Friday morning commute.
Now the Idaho News 6 traffic report.
Okay, it's 6:51 and this is the downtown area where it is a very foggy morning here. Some of the visibility has dropped down near half of a mile. That is very poor visibility for your morning commute. So just a heads up, it's very variable across the area. This is what it looks like on Broadway Avenue where it's not as foggy, but again, just something to keep in mind as you get ready for your Friday and get ready to head out. Here's a look at I-84 Garrity. Nice and clear here. So again, talking about that variability, it looks very nice in Garrity, but as you approach downtown, that's where it starts to get worse. That east and westbound lane look pretty quiet this morning, but I'll continue to keep you up to date as we move through our morning together.
In this morning's GMA First Look, John Tesh opening up about his cancer journey.
I'm incredibly grateful because it has been literally a 10-and-a-half-year journey when I was first diagnosed in 2015.
Tesh, who co-hosted Entertainment Tonight for a decade.
And I'm John Tesh, and the eyes of the nation are on Union, South Carolina tonight.
Before launching a global music career, was first diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2015. This morning, he's crediting his wife with helping save his life.
The prognosis at the time was about 18 months left to live.
That's what they said. I just was like, okay, this is over. And so there were some tears. It's like getting a brick in the face. And my wife, who is an Italian girl from the faith-filled Italian girl from the Bronx, just rose up and she said, this is not us.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more with John Tesh. With your GMA First Look, I'm Trevor Alt, ABC News, Los Angeles.
It's just a few minutes before the top of the hour, everyone, on this Friday. Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho, and we're just wrapping up here. In case you missed it, these are the top stories we're following from our neighborhood reporters.
An emotional reunion at the Elmore County Jail for a man detained in the Wilder FBI ICE raid and what he says happened inside. A father detained during the Wilder FBI ICE raid has been reunited with his daughter after a month apart. He resisted pressure to self-deport, trusting his daughter would fight for his release. Inside Elmore County, he said he faced conditions including long hours without food and overcrowded cells.
A Burley man accused of murdering 4 people back in July was back in Acacia County Court.
Benjamin Naylor waived his preliminary hearing Thursday for the 2 murders in Acacia County. His attorneys say they will also waive the hearing for the 2 Minidoka County murders on Friday. The case moves to district court December 22nd.
In Ada County, neighbors react to the proposal to rename Highway 16 as the Charlie Kirk Memorial Highway.
A local conservative Christian group is preparing a bill and says they already have sponsor interest. Idahoans we spoke to were mixed. Some say Kirk isn't from Idaho, while others say state politics could make it possible. The Idaho Family Policy Center believes renaming the highway would honor Kirk's legacy, and ITD says that lawmakers would make the decision and they would simply put up the signs.
And of course, you can learn more about all of these stories on our website. Just head to idahonews6.com.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
All right, happy Friday, everyone. After some morning fog and some nice chilly weather to start the day, by the afternoon ahead, it'll be nice and sunny, and we'll see better clearing into the 3 o'clock hour, but still a pretty mild afternoon. All right, let's take a look at your morning commute.
Now the Idaho News 6 traffic report.
Okay, it's 6:57. We're giving you a look of downtown where it is a very foggy morning. It's a foggy morning across the area. So just a heads up, we are still under that dense fog advisory. Visibility within the downtown area and as you head into Meridian even dropping near that half-mile mark, and then also as you head into the Magic Valley just at about a quarter. So just a heads up, it will be foggy today. It's very variable. I-84 looks nice and clear here, but as you take a look closer to downtown, that's when things are going to get pretty patchy out there. So just a heads up, at least slow rolling. It's Friday. We're dealing with another foggy Friday here, and we'll see some fog tomorrow, but it'll be an overall really good weekend.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's been starting off that way each day, either rain or fog, and then it turns pretty nice. So that's great to see. Thanks, Sophia. And we're here again closing up from the West Boise YMCA, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you next week.